Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Kaitlin Armstrong. So, this is a case that has a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and you can look at it from different angles. The big question here is, did she kill Anna Moriah Mo Wilson after being very upset that she discovered her boyfriend had continued on at least a friendship with Mo after having a little bit of a fling with her previously, and then flee the country because people started looking at her. Police specifically. Doesn't look very good when you flee the country, change your identity, do plastic surgery on yourself, not on herself, she had it done, and overall become a totally different person. That does seem to look a little suspicious. Or it could be the work of someone who is extremely fear-based, knows this looks absolutely horrible, and that if she were to be gone after legally, she would likely lose, and she thought the only way out of this is to flee and to get out of there. I don't know. I doubt the latter is the truth, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Let's kind of give you the overview of what happened here as the trial of Kaitlin Armstrong is beginning. She's accused of murdering Anna Moriah Mo Wilson, both in the cycling world, as is the boyfriend. It commenced with prosecutors presenting a narrative of jealousy, fatal consequences in an alleged love triangle. Wilson, a skilled cyclist, had a prior romantic involvement with Armstrong's on and off again boyfriend, professional cyclist Colin Strickland. Prosecutors contend that Armstrong, driven by jealousy, tracked Wilson's whereabouts using a fitness app and subsequently shot her in the heart. During opening statements, go ahead.
My question is this. So I have an Apple Watch, my fitness app inside my phone tracks my location and all that, but I don't share it. Mm-hmm. So how are these people getting their whereabouts?
Because you can share it if you want.
So do we think that she was actually sharing her location?
She was sharing her location.
Oh, stop it. Anybody listening to this podcast right now, I need you to stop sharing your location unless it's with somebody who's tracking you to make sure that you get back to your location, okay? I do that with my niece who lives in New Mexico. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to be posting this on social media so that the whack jobs can see where you've been.
And that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of people who do leave that public. I mean, within our family, we have something called Life 360, that app, and we have it on so we can all see where each other are. But within this cyclist app, it kind of does the same thing, but it's more so to show what journeys you've gone on, and then it can, show where you've tracked. But the thing is, you need to go turn that tracking off when you're not on your ride, which I could see being very easy to forget to do.
I guess, but man, it just says to me, if there's somebody who wants to do something nefarious, you are giving them literally the roadmap.
Mm-hmm. And we've normalized all these things as being common, and that's okay to do. I mean, look at teenagers these days. It's a sign of distrust, or it's a sign of being serious in a relationship now if you share your location with your significant other on, like, Apple on the iPhone.
It's digital intimacy.
It is, but I have no problem sharing my location with anybody that I care about, but it is it's a weird thing because it almost speaks to, if one person is very distrustful of the other, I could see that being a very unhealthy obsession where somebody is sitting there tracking every moment of someone and making assumptions of things that maybe are not real, just because someone stopped at a grocery store or whatever it may be. What were you doing there? What were you doing here? That could turn into issues where otherwise it was called trust. You just trusted the other person and didn't necessarily need digital proof. But at the same point, there's plenty of people who lie their ass off. And in some ways, I think that this sort of thing, when used properly, like in a relationship or something like that, can weed out somebody doing bad shit pretty quick. But sometimes those people who are doing bad shit also have other tactics to I guess, trip the system up or not be tracked, because you can turn that off very easily. But then you go down the road of, why did you turn that off if there's nothing to be said? Anyway, that's what was going on here. During opening statements, prosecutors revealed that Strickland had confronted Armstrong about her ongoing communication with Wilson, even going so far as to modify the cyclist's name in her phone contacts. The prosecution asserted that Armstrong had access to Strickland's email and Instagram accounts, allowing her to monitor their correspondence on a shared iPad. Insecure much? That's not a good sign of a healthy relationship.
Right.
If one has to monitor one's other's communication. The tragic incident unfolded while Wilson was staying with her friend Kaitlin Cash on May 10th, 2022. Wilson embarked on a bike ride, meticulously documenting her journey on Strava. That's the app, a workout tracking app. She also shared her exact location with Strickland via text, a decision that prosecutors claim ultimately allowed Armstrong to pinpoint her whereabouts. On that fateful night, prosecutors alleged that Armstrong confronted Wilson, firing multiple shots before delivering a fatal shot to her heart. However, the defense has argued that there is no concrete evidence linking Armstrong to the crime, emphasizing the absence of camera footage placing her at the scene. Armstrong's attorney has described the case as one built on circumstantial evidence and claimed that she is trapped in a nightmare. That's usually the argument that attorneys make when they have no other arguments. It's all circumstantial. You're right, and those circumstances matter a lot. Testimony from Kaitlin Cash, who discovered Wilson and alerted authorities, was emotionally charged. Cash described the heartbreaking scene, saying, "She was covered in blood. She was lying on her back. I bent down and tried to wake her up. Pretty quickly, I called 911. Contrary to initial assertions, Cash clarified that Strickland and Wilson were no longer romantically involved at the time of Wilson's tragic death. In a dramatic turn of events following the murder, Armstrong faced accusations of fleeing to Costa Rica.
Oh, boy.
She did, spending over a month evading authorities and undergoing cosmetic surgery using her sister's passport. Her yoga activities in Costa Rica eventually led to her identification and apprehension. Armstrong was returned to Texas after 43 days on the run. Earlier this month...
I commend her, though, Tony, because I practice yoga, and it's been about a month and a half since I've done anything. This chick is on the freaking run, has cosmetic surgery, and still takes part in yoga. You go, girl.
That seems rather psychotic and very, very poor decision-making. And as we see, she does kind of have a track record of making very poor decisions. And this would be one of them. Earlier this month, here's another one. She was involved in another incident when she attempted to escape during a transport to a medical appointment. This was earlier in October. Video footage captured the tensed moment as Armstrong sprinted alongside a walking track being pursued by an officer. After a brief stumble by the officer, Armstrong tried to scale a wall before being apprehended following a 10-minute chase. Trial is just starting to get underway, and we're going to watch it here for you and bring you the updates as it comes down. This is a compelling, bizarre case. To me, you look at all this stuff, I don't know how they're going to argue that she is innocent unless they have some sort of solid evidence that's not circumstantial that puts her in a different location. The problem with that, her Jeep was at the site of the murder scene. The bullet casings matched the bullet that was in her home. And and you can argue some of those sciences, if you will, as far as how accurate some of them are. But, it'd be very odd to have that many coincidences in something like this where someone's dead.
Yeah. And this just screams guilty, doesn't it?
It does. The thing is, people do act guilty when they are, in fact, innocent. And I'm not saying that that's what happened here, but if you're in that situation, the worst idea you can do is run, especially if you have a good alibi and you can prove that you're not the person. But if just the right things happened at the right time and you realize, shit, this really does make me look bad. And even I would think I was guilty if I didn't know that I did not do this sort of thing. Is that a case of this? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, where she knew everything looked really shitty and she was going to end up being locked up for this. And she thought, fuck, my only way of living the rest of my life in freedom is to run. But I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting arc of behavior. She doesn't have any sort of record. She doesn't have any sort of history of doing anything remotely of this sort. So to go, flee, get plastic surgery, it almost seems like she got her idea on how to do these things from Hollywood, of this is how you escape and not get caught. And she was really on the track to doing that. Her problem was she remained in public. She needed to have that social interaction. I would think the best thing to do in that sort of a case, if you're running away because you're being accused of murder, whether you did it or not, is to lay low. It's not to go out to hip hop night at the local club in Costa Rica and start practicing yoga and having students and actually offering classes. That may be a little suspicious, just a little, because there is media. People can find identities pretty easily, even in Costa Rica. And if it shows that you're missing, someone may find you pretty quick, and that nose job may not be enough to hide your ass.
Oh my God. I kind of want to know, did the cosmetic surgery work out well? Was she able to still do her downward dog, or did it hurt her face? I mean, I have questions.
I think that's the line of the day. Was she still able to do her downward dog?
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.